What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am awesome. Thank you for asking. Oh my God. Hello, world. We are here yet again to join y'all. How y'all doing? What? What's going on?
Nothing at all. What's going on is that we are back for another episode. What?
The multiverse is open. You're talking in the multiverse. I want the multiverse to know I'm under construction of me. So I am going to be addressing many different variations of the people that I'm talking to in this verse, okay? So if I look here and look here and look here, look here, I'm just talking to your universe. The multiverse is real, and we're a part of it. And you need to know how to address each and every last one of the people you need to talk to, okay? That pre-warning. There you go.
But for this week's episode, speaking of the multiverse, we are stepping away from DC, we're stepping away from Marvel, and we're talking about the newest film from A24 Studios called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. But if you didn't know, this is All Things Super, where every week we take a movie, TV show, a trailer from the superhero or just the super genre, and we talk about it, we break it down, we review it, we react to it, and we give it all to you. And if you like that, you can check us out on YouTube, you can hit us up on Twitter at ATSuperPod, or you can follow us and listen to our show on podcast streaming services, wherever you get your favorite podcast streamers, your favorite podcast. But like I said, we're going to be talking about.
You do that so well.
Listen, it's an acquired talent. So well. It's an acquired talent.
I'll have some of that on the menu.
You want to know the secret? The real secret behind it? The real secret behind it is think about what you want to say before you say it.
Is that how that works?
That's how that works. You should try it. You should try it. I swear it'll change your life.
That sounds hard.
It takes some getting used to. It definitely takes some getting used to.
I'm gonna hold this down for what I got right now until it stops working for me.
I'm gonna keep going down the path that I've been going down. I don't need to deviate from it. It's been serving me well so far.
I don't use that technique.
But before we jump into talking about the movie, I kind of want to talk about the studio for a second first.
Go for it.
A24, a studio that I wasn't very familiar with, but when I went to go see the movie, there were a couple of films that are coming, a couple of A24 films that are going to be coming out in the future that they showed trailers for before the film. And so I was kind of looking at it, I'm like, okay, I see that I don't want to call them an independent studio because I don't know like the level of them, the size of it. Like I said, I don't know too much about them, so I don't want to disparage any of the work that they've done. But speaking of the work that they've done, they've come out with some critically acclaimed movies in the past. They were the studio behind Midsommar, which was a big hit for Florence Pugh. They came out with The Green Knight, which was touted as a great movie.
I did enjoy The Green Knight.
And they also came out with what's the other one? Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems took Adam Sandler out of his comedy role, put him in something dramatic. Well, not to say that he hadn't done anything dramatic before, but again,
yeah, don't you shit on Spanglish. Don't you shit on Spanglish. Spanglish was amazing. I love Spanglish.
But it was said to be like a very like a far removed thing from what Adam Sandler normally does, but it was one of. Facts. They said it was like one of the best performances of his career. And
Yes, I heard
Now,
similar.
now A24 has this movie coming out, I think later this year, or it might be next year, called Men. And that was one of the trailers that was shown before Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that looks like it is going to be a thrilling, chilling, just mind trippy movie. It's just like I want to see it, but then it's like I don't know how it's gonna scar me for the rest of my life because it looks like that type of movie that like you watch it and then after you leave you're forever changed by it. So I mean, good on them because it looks like they're getting more and more notoriety from these movies that they have coming out, and people are starting to realize that it doesn't always these great movies don't always have to come from these major motion picture studios, your Paramount, your Disney, your Universal, Warner Brothers. They don't have to come from these big studios. You can have smaller studios still produce great movies. Like we were talking about before we started the show, tell me a great story. Like
Boom.
if you can combine the script writing of your movie with the visuals and you can put it together and give me a good comprehensive story, people are gonna love it regardless. And it's like a smaller studio may not have the marketing budget, but your greatest marketing tool is word of mouth. You get a good
Yep.
few people to see that movie, and everybody starts saying you have to go see this movie. It is amazing. It's going to get out there, and people are going to go see it.
That's exactly what happened to make me go see it. The streets were talking, and the streets said, "This is the one."
Mm-hmm.
Because I was questioning if it was the one, and they said, "This is the one." And I listened to the streets. Probably to, the streets ain't let me down yet, but I'm from the streets. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
So I
mean,
went and
you got
saw
to
it,
keep you in the
and
streets.
I went and saw it, and it was so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not supposed to say fucking. So
Nah, we
fucking
we pass it.
amazing.
Said it
I'm
three
from the
times in a row.
streets. I'm from the streets. That was your disclaimer. I'm from the streets. Okay, but the movie was amazing though. It,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
everything with a great story. I didn't mean to cut you off, Spider. Finish
No,
your
no, no. You're good.
your synopsis.
No, what I was just gonna say was just that we're gonna launch into full spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, just hit us with a like on the video so you can have it saved in your history. Go watch it. Seriously, go watch the movie. It is one that you shouldn't miss. But then come back and give us a watch after you watch it and see if your opinions of the movie line up with our opinions of the movie. But yeah, this is
And
just
if
your
it don't,
warning.
that's okay.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, then if you want to make a discussion, leave it in the comments. Let us know what you thought about the movie. But
Just don't
yeah,
say we spoiled it for you, because
this is your warning. We're going into full spoilers. But yeah, so we're talking about everything.
sips tea.
We're talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was directed and written by the Daniels, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. And they call themselves the Daniels, which I think is really fucking cool. If you can co-write and
Wasn't
co-direct
it?
something, it's just like the Daniels. I'm like, that's fucking baller. That's just
We ain't
baller.
gotta emphasize we brothers. It's in the name.
But no, it's star Michelle Yeoh, who is, God, she's just so amazing. She is. I don't want to say that she's underrated because people know that she's amazing, but she still doesn't get the recognition that she deserves. She's been doing this for a long time. She's
I
right
was
up
thinking
there.
back.
Yeah.
I was thinking back when she was introduced to me and Jackie Chan
Hmm.
from the old Jackie Chan work, and she was rocking it with Jackie back then,
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah. And it's like and because starting out like in a martial arts genre and everything, and she was up there with them. She was up there with Jackie. She was up there with Jet Li. But it was always, of course, it's a male dominated field, so she's doing the work but not getting the recognition. And I I had seen her in the old Jackie Chan work, but Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was when like it was when I saw her in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I was just like, this is like she's just so amazing, just like so talented, and I feel like she's gotten so many, like, just I can't even put it into words because it makes me sad that she's like, she should be one of the most decorated actors in the business today of all the stuff that she's done. And this
Killed it
movie,
in Star Trek Discovery. She's in that.
oh,
Killing
is
it.
she?
Killing it. Like all the way through. Killing it.
But she's
Every time
amazing.
she's on camera is a treat. It's just she's just, and she brings out the best in everybody that she's around.
Yeah.
So
But
I
also starring Jamie Lee Curtis is in there. She has a big part in the movie. Just
killed it.
amazing. Just
Destroyed it.
I love because Jamie Lee Curtis does these because of course, you know, from the Halloween franchise, she's got this very serious she's got the acting chops. Everybody knows Jamie Lee Curtis can act. But what I love seeing Jamie Lee Curtis do is like not take herself too seriously and performing these goofy roles. Like one of my favorite Jamie Lee Curtis's performance is in True Lies. Probably,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not necessarily the best movie, but definitely a great performance put on by Jamie Lee Curtis. And
Why is it not the best movie?
because some people think, I'll say critically the best movie. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It's one of my favorite movies. But people see like
True Lies
those,
is a fucking awesome.
yeah, but people see like those 90s, 80s, 90s action films as just like, oh, popcorn movies and like not critically acclaimed, stuff like that. But like in the 80s and 90s, Schwarzenegger was killing it. Just about everything he was doing was awesome.
Touched it, broke it, claimed it. That was me. That impact was me.
But no, just one of my favorite scenes in True Lies was Jamie was supposed to be like trying to get infiltrate or just get some information out of this guy, so she went up as an escort or whatever, posing as an escort, and she had to do like a little striptease thing, and she was dancing on the bed and she slipped off the bedpost and fell, but the way she popped back up, it's just like just classic, and it's just so much of like her physical nature goes into her comedic acting, which is something that you don't see from a lot of those serious dramatic actors, and she brought that into this movie as well. And we're going to get into some of these scenes from this movie. It's just like absolutely ridiculous, hilarious, just
hilarious, multiversal significance.
I'm laughing at the thought of it because it is just so crazy. But the last person I want to talk about is Ke Huy Quan, who, if you don't know who Ke Huy Quan is, he was a child actor in the 80s, well, like late 70s, early 80s. I want to say it was late 70s. It had to be late 70s because I feel like he's a little bit not old, but he's up in age. But no, it was the 80s. It was mid 80s. And so
I believe that's what you said, sir. You're having trouble with being correct. You are correct, sir.
I'm having troubles with dates, and I'm overcorrecting myself. But no, because he was Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Probably one of the best parts of that movie.
That's who that is.
And he was Data in The Goonies, which is one of the quintessential 80s movies.
That's who that... I didn't do the research, but I knew there was a sense of familiarity with this gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in two of the biggest movies in the 80s. But he after that he kind of did a couple more things, and then he took like a big break from acting. I'm looking at his IMDb, and between 2002 and 2021 he has nothing there. So you're talking about like an almost 20-year break in acting.
Well, let me tell you something. He didn't miss a beat. He brought it.
He did.
All of it. And, wow. That isn't crazy. That's incredible to learn that information. Look at Spider bringing knowledge.
Look, I gotta bring it up. I gotta bring it up.
Knowledge to your screen. I'm just here for all of it. It's the Spider Show.
But no, and then
no, that is incredible. That is incredible.
and then James Hong, who played the grandfather, he's one of the greatest
Legend.
Asian actors that we have in the business, not only in
Legend.
live action but in voice acting as well. He's been
Legend.
in Kung Fu Panda. He's been in Mulan. Guy's been almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. Mortal Kombat. Just he was in Big Trouble in Little China.
The good one. The good Mortal Kombat. Just put that out there. It wasn't in the bad.
I forgot. I had forgot about the Mortal Kombat reboot that just came out a few years ago. I literally forgot about that. That like just went away from my mind, and you just reminded me when you said the good one.
Well, maybe I'm thinking about Big Trouble in Little China. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong about Mortal Kombat. They're gonna come for me, and I'm gonna let them. Come on, it's okay.
Let me know when I'm wrong.
But no, if I'm wrong, and he wasn't in the Mortal Kombat, maybe I'm thinking about Big Trouble in Little China. His man is a legend.
The man is a legend. Awesome, and he was awesome in this too. Even though, like, he wasn't like a main part of the story. Like, it wasn't in a lot of scenes, but the scenes that he was in, he killed it. Of course, absolutely incredible.
Granddaughter said, "When did he learn English?"
Yeah, and then even all of the supporting characters as well, because the daughter's name, Stephanie Sue, who played the daughter, she killed it as well. I haven't seen a lot of her work, but she was definitely
all those fashion choices. I don't know who was in wardrobe. She killed them, all of them,
every single one,
and I enjoyed watching. I didn't think that I would like the clown outfit so much.
Bruh, it's like the outfit shouldn't have worked. The outfits that she was wearing should not have made sense. It shouldn't have worked. They should not have looked as good as they did. But every single one looked amazing. As wacky and just absolutely batshit crazy as they were, they looked good. The outfits, the hairstyles, the makeup is just like, I mean, the fact that, like, when she was first introduced as that multiverse would be in the first time that Michelle Yeoh's character interacts with her, she's just like in a simple like tennis skirt, like she was just like the visor, like just simple, like she was playing tennis or golf or whatever, and then from there it just fucking skyrocketed. Like everything from then on out was just, what are you wearing, and why does this look like I can go to New York City Fashion Week and see somebody walking down the aisle looking like that?
She was holding back. That was her being. We're talking multiversal stuff. She was holding back. But then when she cut back, but it, like you said, all those things shouldn't have worked. But in the context of the movie, made so much sense. It was explained so nice. And like you said, Spider, the story.
The story.
La story. I was in for the story because, you know, the pacing was good. Some places, if I had to nitpick, which we are honest here on this channel, on this show, we're honest. Some of the beats went a little longer than what they needed to.
Yep.
But I appreciated to get those extra for everybody else that didn't quite get it. There was a little more for you to grab onto at the end of saying what the message is, you know, mother and daughter, wife and husband, finding her own identity, maybe that prospect of another lover of the same sex, maybe she had those feelings as well. And in another universe, you see how that played off.
Right.
Even though it was weird with hot dog fingers.
Easily the weirdest part of that movie. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot with everything else that was going on.
The condiments coming out of the fingers was too much for me.
No, it's the condiments come instead of holding hands, the holding feet, playing piano with the feet.
My God. Oh my God.
That whole universe, that's a universe that I don't want anything to do with.
Nor do I. But right there, that was some madness. But the fact that she had relationships with another same sex, and who knows if that's something that she struggled in. But all those components that told the story were there. So again, some of it laid longer than I would have liked. But again, we're probably prolonging so everybody can get that. If everybody got that, there'll be some people that didn't get it. And they're like, "What? Oh, that's what that was for." So you got the relationship between the husband and the wife, potentially her and her lover, finding herself,
Right.
and acceptance for herself in the life that she's living now, and a relationship between not only her and her daughter, but her and her daughter in a multiverse,
Right.
and how that relationship with all those people within the multiverse impacts her. So cleverly done. Nice.
One of the things that I appreciate about this movie is because it seems like the prevailing theory in Hollywood right now is that the multiverse can be done in one of two ways. It can be done as far as separate.
Yes, it can be done correctly or incorrectly. That's how it can be done. Somebody's getting it right. Somebody's leaving question marks and dude spots all over the. Who gonna clean this up? Because the timekeepers aren't real, and the time variance authority is off or quit, unionize. I don't know what they're doing.
Because it's crazy. It's crazy because it's like we have one prevailing multiverse theory where there are different timelines, right? It's different timelines, but it's within the same universe. And then we have another theory where it's different universes. And so because it's like I feel like this one and Everything Everywhere All at Once was kind of a mixture of both, because they showed it like where she made the branch in her history or in her future, where in one branch she left and she went with her husband after her father didn't want her to. In one branch she stayed and didn't go with her boyfriend at the time and stayed with her parents. And so you
became a master at martial arts.
Right. But so you can see like this is still like the same universe. These are like logical choices that a person would make throughout their lifetime, and it would just branch off the possibilities of what would happen in the future. But then like the universe where they were rocks, right? This is not something that she could make a choice in, and then all of a sudden in her future she becomes a rock. Or she could make a choice in her past, and then in the future she's in a future where they have hot dog fingers. So it's like a difference between like different timelines, and then also a difference between like different universes. But the fact that even though they mix those two different like multiverse theories, it still made sense, because it's like for anyone who's not at all understanding what the premise of the movie is that Evelyn was her name. Evelyn was able to tap into the multiverse because her husband Wayman from a different future where Evelyn
Alpha One.
Yeah, Alpha Wayman.
Earth. Yeah.
From Alpha Earth, or yeah.
A-Dub-1.
So he was able to travel the multiverse based off of technology that Evelyn had created. And in that Alpha universe, Evelyn had died, and so Wayman was trying to go find the best Evelyn throughout the multiverse to be able to combat the threat. I forgot what they called with the name of.
Yeah, I'm not even about to pretend to say that. I'm not even gonna do that.
Yeah, but so the threat that was destroying the multiverse, Wayman was trying to travel, find the proper Evelyn to be able to combat that threat and save the multiverse. And so Evelyn was able to use these Bluetooth earpieces.
Right.
To be able to do, and it's so funny the way that they said that the only way that you could tap into the multiverse is to do something that you would not normally do in your everyday life.
Right.
And that's like so interesting to think, because it's like how do we ground this into reality and say that, you know, this could happen to anybody, but what you would have to do would be something that you normally wouldn't do, because we go through our lives, we have this routine, we wake up, we brush our teeth, go to work, you know,
Loved
have
all of
lunch,
it.
all of that stuff. It was like, but all of a sudden, let me go find a butt plug trophy and try to slam my ass on top of it so I can tap
Wait,
into
wait, wait,
this
wait,
universe.
wait. I love how they did it though, Spider, because listen, it started you off so subtle.
Mm-hmm.
You went from changing your
Right,
shoes
put your
and,
shoes onto the wrong feet.
yeah, it was so subtle and it was foreshadowed because you saw him in the background. And I was with my wife when I watched the movie. So well, instantly I said, why does it look like a anal plug? Immediately. And she was like, well, you've been doing this for so long, you can spot the bullshit. And it's like, that's going on somebody's ass. I don't know whose ass, but that's, and to have it called back for exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
But the journey that they took you to get to that level got you more extreme, more extreme, more extreme. So you were there for it. Because when he had to do the paper
I was just
cuts,
thinking about that one. Oh my God. I honestly, I have not had a paper cut probably in about 20 years. And I hope to never get a paper cut ever again in my life. But to have to
that
manually
inflicted on
give yourself paper
yourself.
cuts, just like, oh my God. That's like, I don't, like, there's a few things that I watch in movies like that make me like wince and cringe. That was one of them. You can add that to the list. That's just like, like, no.
The ability to make you feel that in writing and in visual is
Yeah.
powerful.
Just, oh my
Because you
God.
know he wasn't really cut, but you was
Of course
right
not.
there. You're
But
like,
yeah.
ouch. And then he didn't just do it. Like he had to keep doing it. It's
Right,
like you
through
were right
every single
there.
one. But and then just because, and it's so funny because we were like kind of talking about Moon Knight and talking about Oscar Isaac and how he was transitioning between Mark and Steve, and just kind of like at the drop of a hat. It's like just facial expressions, kind of demeanor, and of course the vocal pattern with Steven being British and Mark being American. So to make those like quick jumps and distinct differences. But for Wayman to go from Alpha Wayman to current universe Wayman, and like he just like quick, just head nod and snaps back into it, and then poor regular universe Wayman goes through all of this stuff without knowing anything about it. It's like, why did my hands hurt? And like, just like, can you imagine like waking up out of your sleep and then you have paper cuts in all the webs of your fingers? It's
Oh,
like,
I hate
why?
myself. I'm doing this all day. That is the worst. And it feels
Yeah,
like it takes forever to heal.
yeah,
And oh my God, they took it there.
they did.
I was there emotionally. And the buildup was, and then for it to turn out to be so wacky at the end because the anal plugs again
Right.
went up anuses. And it's so funny because they stayed there.
They came back into the
Oh,
fight,
they didn't
hands
fall
halfway
out.
down, trophies just hanging out the ass. I'm like, why? I'm like,
The
you got
sumo jump. The sumo jump killed it. The sumo jump.
ah!
Hey,
Like,
if y'all
bruh.
haven't, if you are, listen, we put the spoiler warning out there. I'm telling you, if you listen to all this, maybe this might help you go see the movie so you can actually know what we're talking about. But these are critical, unexpected things that happen throughout the movie. It was in a combination of taking us, the watcher, the audience, on a great journey through a complex storyline. I'm gonna say it. Are we looking at a multiverse that's done better than the MCU
It's
in
possible.
this one story?
Right. It was one story. It didn't take 10 years of characters to build up. It was just one story.
Ouch. Ouch.
Look, I am of the thought that they explained it very well. They explained their concept of a multiverse very well. And the thing about it is that I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but I feel like even in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and this isn't really spoilers because it's not giving away any plot of the movie, but they still, and it was in a trailer. It's like Doctor Strange asked Wanda, "What do you know of the multiverse?" And Wanda was like, "Well, Viz has its theories. All he knows is that it's dangerous." And that's really all they really said about the multiverse. Now, granted, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness they did like a visual showing of different universes that they've gone through, but I don't really think that any movie in the MCU has ever really explained what the multiverse is. They kind of did it in Loki, kind of talked about the sacred timeline and different variants and kind of pruning timelines because of these offshoots or whatever. Anytime like somebody deviated from the, well, yeah, and then incursions still kind of weren't fully explained, but
No.
even it just in this one movie, they took the time to say and it was basically, just based off of Evelyn's life, but they basically say every decision that you make in life, every time there's a branching decision, they're prevailing thoughts. Like you can go either one way or the other. Both happen, but you and your mind only stay on one path. The other path still happen. It just breaks off to another branch, creates another universe or another branch timeline. Right. And so I just felt like it was so well done. I mean, yes, did it leave me with questions? Absolutely. Of course. I have questions.
What questions do you have? Here at All Things Super, we ask the questions, we answer the questions.
Look, I don't know if there's an answer to it, but just kind of what I was saying before is the difference between why there's your branch timelines, but then there's also your different universes. Like, what's the distinction between the two? Like, are we living in a reality where we just have different universes where there are different things, where you have people with hot dog fingers, you have people where you have rocks that have consciousness, and it's like,
I don't know if I've ever seen a rock talk to me. I can promise you that very day, I will lose my shit.
Because I can understand the concept of branch timelines. That's not something that's like too like far out of, because I've lived a life where I've had to make a decision and I can always sit here and wonder, did I make the right decision? What would my life be like if I've done, if I chose A instead of choosing B? And we sit here and we contemplate those things. It was like, well, we'll never know, because it's not like we can go back in time and then remake our decision and pick something else and see how that life would play out. And so like our alternate selves live out that life, and whether it's for good or for bad, are living that life based off of that decision that we made. So I understand that portion of it. It's the different universes on top of the branch timelines that kind of just had me wondering, so what's the distinction between the two? Like why do we have both? That was like really the main question that I had.
Here at All Things Super, we ask the questions and we leave y'all to answer them in the comments. Spider don't win somewhere else with this. Look, my friend, let me ask you this question.
What's the question?
Was the movie super?
Oh yes, the movie was super. The movie was absolutely amazing. Raccoon-a-Tooie, you want to give me Raccoon-a-Tooie and tell me that this movie is not super?
That shit was hilarious. And to have him exposed was even more hilarious.
The man is sitting at the hibachi stove, get his hat taken off. This big ass raccoon sitting on top of his head. Oh my God.
Are they coming for Disney? That's all like, guess what, Disney? I got you. Oh my God. It was so hilarious. And the scene where he was doing amazing on the hibachi, I was looking like, man, he's really killing it on the hibachi. He's slicing stuff in the air. Like, wow. To come back and say that was Raccoon Tooie.
Well, no,
I'm
and then the thing
sorry.
about when he got exposed and the raccoon got taken away, then Evelyn went back and she felt bad because she took the man's career away from him. But to go help him get the raccoon back, she's on top of his head controlling him. Like he doesn't know how to do anything on his own.
Clearly, he need that parasite. I like the part. I like the part where the raccoon too. He says she's seen too much. I was in the movie thinking, okay, is he about to try to kill her?
Take her
I
out.
was genuinely concerned.
Oh
I
my
thought he was the
god.
Khonshu of the raccoon tooie. I was like, wait a minute, this is
Push her
about
off
to
the
get dark.
cliff.
It could have went either way. And I
Oh
love the fact that
god.
I was able to get lost in the story enough so that I don't know what to expect and still enjoy the ride. Is it super? Goddamn right it is. All things everywhere. What's the title spread?
Everything everywhere all at once. You
That's
mixing
what I
our
would have
show into the
said.
name of the movie.
Well, we're super too, so they go connect at some point.
It's the
Obviously,
multiverse.
we're doing the show about the show in our show. So
Yeah,
they're super, we're super. It connects. All things super is going to run into each other eventually, right?
eventually.
So if you're super, leave your comments in the comment section, and we're going to run into you there. Multiverse, multiverse. Does that meta? Oh, there was meta in moments all through this movie.
Oh, just nothing but a bunch of meta moments.
We haven't even. This is how good this movie. We haven't even talked about the conclusion of everything bagel. This is.
Everything bagel.
Does it have to be a two-parter? I mean, give the
No,
everything
because I
bagel
mean,
and
we haven't
the
even talked about
the the
the
symbolism for
daughter
the
of it.
everything bagel. Yeah, this whole story. It's such a great story. There's so many great moments in it. We haven't even talked about the movie.
But let me shed some light onto the actual
Yeah,
theme of the story.
you do that while I do the very important stuff right here. So you can take care of the important stuff. I'll take care of the important stuff. Go.
But no, the actual theme of the movie, and it's very funny how we have a lot of movies that have been coming out recently that have been kind of following the same theme. Where growing up as kids, we were always told, mind your manners, respect the adults, do what they say, and everything. And we've grown into wanting to make our own decisions despite our parents' wishes. And despite our parents, what they think is their best interest, it seems like they don't always know who we are as people. And so we try to make these individual choices for ourselves, and we still want the love and affection of our family, but all the time it doesn't end up that way. And for Joy, the daughter, to try to appease Evelyn, and it's like, I'm living my life, but I still, I'm still going to be around, but you won't accept me. It's like I have to, when she introduces Joy's girlfriend as to the grandfather as her friend. And it's like, I feel that. Like, I can understand that. I know, like, my generation embracing same-sex relationships more than the older generations, and how older generations will try to kind of hide that or shy away from it, not talk about it. It's like, oh, it's a phase, you'll grow out of it, all this other kind of stuff. And it's like,
yeah,
the older generation is pushing their children away for the simple fact that they don't want to accept their kids. Like, okay, even if it is a phase, like, you don't have to, like, be like, oh, well, you'll get over it. I'm not gonna acknowledge it because I know you're gonna be done with it in a month, a year, or whatever. It's like, if you just accept your child for who they are and let them live their life.
Whoa, hey, Spider, you about to piss a lot of people off, man.
If I'm gonna piss people off with telling them that they should love their children, then
hey, man,
listen.
hey, man.
But all I'm saying is that the message of the movie was just basically just at least give your children the time to be able to listen to them so they can share their feelings with you. And it's like, the whole first part of the movie, because the movie was actually in three parts. It was like everything, everywhere, and then all at once. And in the first act of the movie, Evelyn was so preoccupied with, doing the bills, doing the taxes, getting the receipts, running the laundromat. She didn't have time for her husband. She didn't have time for her daughter. She wanted to make her father feel like he was being taken care of. She didn't want to displease him. And it's just, she's glossing over all of the other things that are going on in her life. Going back to one one thing that Alpha Wayman told Evelyn why she was picked is because that this version of Evelyn was not in these exact words, but basically just an absolute failure at everything. Not just some, like, there's no one thing that you are exceptionally good at. You're just bad at everything.
Oh,
so
my God,
that makes you the perfect candidate. But it's just,
and her response, she's like, somebody's worse than me. Like, no, it's you. Killing these roles, man.
Oh, it was just so good.
Killing it. I don't know if it was improv or chemistry or writing, but it was on point.
It was amazing.
When she had the vision of her life without her husband, she said, I want to go back and tell him how amazing my life was without him.
Right.
I was weak. The missus and myself was weak in the theater. Great writing.
So good.
Taking you on that journey. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no,
it's just all these great moments.
It's so many great moments, but just Joy's, because even at the end of the movie, it didn't have your quote unquote stereotypical happy ending, because Joy was still feeling some kind of way.
Beam.
No,
there was no sky beam. There was no, well, there was an anus. You call it everything.
Everything bagel. Getting sucked
I asked
into.
my wife. I asked my wife. Was it just me or was it an anus? It was very anally. So all the butt play earlier. Then there was a big donut with everything in it.
Yeah.
And she got. Oh! You don't want to look at it as an anus because she got sucked in. Hey, man.
I mean, look.
She came out. Everything came out okay from the other end.
It's open for interpretation, I suppose.
For all my audio listeners, go to video.
Go watch the video. Go watch a YouTube video. But yeah, I mean, in the end, it's just like, even Evelyn was still like, I accept you, I appreciate you, I love you, but Joy was still like, yeah, but you still have to let me go. It's like, you can't hold on to me based on the fear that I don't come back, or the fear that I'm going to grow apart from you or anything like that. Just let me go and let me live my life. And it's like, Evelyn had to understand, like, yes, in order for you to be able to grow as a person, I have to let you go. I can't keep holding on to what I want you to be for me. But then even then, when they get back to their like original reality, everything, and so Evelyn still went up to Joy and was like, I'm still going to expect you to come. I'm still going to call you excessively. I'm still going to be a mother, but
I'm still going to be your mother.
If you decide that you don't want to come back, then, that's your decision. And it was just beautiful, right, just beautiful themes, just beautiful things. with this old ass station wagon. But no, it was just beautiful themes. Like you said, it was written extremely well. It was acted phenomenally. Every single person. There was not, because normally you go to a movie, you see like, okay, we were talking about it in the Multiverse of Madness episode. It's like, Wanda was great. Doctor Strange was great. Wong was great. But America Chavez, her actors, like, no, not too great. Weak ass punches, all this other kind of stuff. But everybody in this movie just performed exceptionally well. There was not a weak actor. There was not a weak performance in this movie at all.
not even from the henchmen or the goons. I love how they took it and played it and gave it a multiversal spin. Even the
Mm.
results of the fights, you had people come together,
Fight
love each other. You
scenes.
had
Fight scenes were
giving
so amazing.
happiness. Oh, this is what it looks like when you do it right.
The
I
fanny
am
pack fight scene,
disappointed.
though. I've never seen so many people get their ass whipped by a
I
fanny pack.
I got all kind of Jackie Chan vibes from that whole sequence
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
loved all of it. And I don't know if it was an homage, which me and the missus looked and seen that they asked Jackie to do it, but Jackie went in a different direction.
Okay.
Says he wanted to do more dramatic roles versus the action
The
ones.
right.
And I do not blame him. The man's a legend in the
Right.
martial arts world. He's contributed well more than enough. He can do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
But the homage was not there. It was there.
Mm-hmm.
Unofficially or officially, I got a lot of Jackie Chan vibes from it and enjoyed all of it, taking nothing away from the whole team that put it together. I know it's not Jackie Chan, but I think if it was meant to be an homage, they did a perfect job of it. If it wasn't, they still nailed it, and it's
Yeah.
an excellent fight scene.
No,
I said
it's just
that. So that's how it feels to think about what you're supposed to say before you say it.
see, how does that feel for
Oh,
you? How did
it
how,
hurts. It
it's
hurts.
like a muscle. You got to work it out. You got to work it out. You're gonna be sore for a little bit, but you keep working it out. It'll get a
I,
little bit better.
I got a painkiller right here.
But no, it's just I love it because every time we talk about one scene, it reminds me of a different scene, and that's just the mark of a good movie. Is like every part of it was enjoyable. Like you said, there were some scenes that kind of dragged on a little bit long, but it kind of gave you that time to sort of absorb everything that was going on in the scene, and it was kind of like they were reiterating it, but they weren't like beating a dead horse. They weren't like constantly like just trying to drill it into you. It was like we're just gonna like kind of
Right.
keep going over it so you can understand it. But
And sometimes we need that. Yeah, just
yeah,
drag it on a little
just a
because
little
some
bit
people get
more,
to the
just a little bit more so you can understand it.
just because you got across the finish line don't mean the race is over. It's just over for you. There are
Beautifully
others. There's
said.
second place and there's third place, and we need to make sure everyone crosses. And if you're ninth, we're yay. But everybody started
Everybody started packing
going.
up.
Everybody started breaking the camera down. We're happy that you finished,
Right.
but we got stuff to do and
You
families
know,
to do.
in a marathon, you got runners and you got walkers. You know, the walkers got to finish too.
You right, and they leave somebody there.
Just to make
Usually
sure
they
that
have
they
a
finish.
cup. Yeah, and the paramedics don't leave until you cross, so they really mad that you walking.
Listen, they
But
getting
they
paid either way.
underpaid. But
Well,
okay,
true,
well,
true. No,
hey,
you're right.
okay,
You're right.
well,
You're right.
that's
You're
a
right. You're
different
right.
show. That's a
Yeah,
different show.
that's a definitely different show. But no, that just brought me back to Evelyn gets pulled into the universe where Jamie Lee Curtis's character is trying to beat her up, and she has to confess her love to her in order to get her abilities. And then they go back into the Alpha universe, and she just hauls off. It's just like, are you? Waving at her, she's ready to fight. She just hauls off and hit her in the face. And Jamie Lee Curtis is like, she hit me. Calls security. She's like, no, you were trying to kill me.
Do you, and this is so funny, do you
Mm-hmm.
think Jamie Lee Curtis was getting up to go to the restroom and that was the shit walk? Because when she was drinking the milkshake or whatever
Uh,
was in the bottle, she's like, I'm going to regret this, right?
yeah,
So I'm thinking she had bubble guts and she was going to the restroom. And when she
probably
just turned around, clocked
clocked her right in the face.
right in the fucking face.
Oh my god.
Oh, this was magnificent storytelling at its
Absolutely.
finest. And if you're going to be recognized for putting your production house on the map, they did it with this one. A24.
Yes.
is somebody that you definitely want to keep your eye on because you're right. They may not be Marvel, Sony, Disney, Universal, Paramount, but with quality material like this, their
Mm-hmm.
name is going to be not just edged in the side of the mountain as one of the great production companies. It's going to be laser cut in that because it's going to be undefined and you can't fuck with it, unfathomable to even come with a story that's going to beat it.
Right.
They, to me, right now, are the beast to watch. And like you said, the new one that they're coming out with didn't do it for me,
Mm-hmm.
but I may see it from what you said because your opinion of it was there's no possible way that I'll see it and not be changed after I see it.
Yeah.
And for that alone, I accept the challenge. And again, they can't with the Green Knight. Oh, it brought me in because it was different.
Yeah.
It brought me in because and I stayed and watched all of it. Just, I think I might have had a date and I had an appointment and I had to go, but I couldn't wait to get back to finish the rest of it. I
Yeah.
could have fell asleep. I don't know. Something happens. I'm always doing something. I'm doing something, but it's stuff. I've seen it a couple of times. I think that's what happened. I think me and the missus was in the air and we
Okay.
watched it together because I've seen the trailers for it and I wanted to see it from the trailers. And I reminded her, I say, I want to watch this. And she said, well, let's watch it together, like she always does. And so we
Mm-hmm.
did. And then the plane landed and we made an immediate point to finish the rest whenever we get settled. But they are the studio right now for me.
Yeah.
Killed it on the acting, killed it on the action scenes, killed it on the story, killed it on the comedy. This was killed it on
So
the
great.
emotional parts.
So great.
They did their job in every part of this movie, and again, they even drug it along for everybody to get to the conclusion that it needed to be. And it's a nitpick for me because I got it. I
Right.
might have came in first. But don't be mad that I came in first. Spider and I do this, okay? We do this for the love, honestly. And when it's spot on, when it's we go I can't we go give it flowers and it deserves
Yeah.
it. And if you haven't seen it and if we haven't spoiled it for you,
There's
because
so much more to the movie that we
we
haven't
have
even
not
touched on.
even talked about what else is in the movie. You cannot spoil this movie because you
There's
don't need.
so much. You would literally have to. We would literally have to sit here and retell the movie from beginning to ending for you to be able to get everything that's in the movie. There's so much more.
Damn it! That no, because in my mind, and this is just Mr. VIP Frankie Washington talking.
Mm-hmm.
In every multiverse. In my mind, there's always a pinnacle of great storytelling that I put at the top of my list of who I would like to aspire to, learn from and, ultimately destroy. But that's not evil, it's competitive, okay? Keep that in
Okay.
mind. You want to be amongst the greats. You don't want to be amongst the greats for, like we were talking about earlier, or maybe I was talking about this with my wife. I don't know. There's too much of this involved. Hold on. I have to balance my scales.
Right.
So we were talking about Avatar and we were talking about storytelling and we were talking about the first Avatar, not the new one that's coming out. We were talking about how it's not an original story, but it was visually eye candy for the audience. I'm not too keen and excited about the new Avatar
Mm-hmm.
because, again, I don't really particularly know about what's going on with the story. It has some interesting beats, but yeah, it's not enough to make me excited about it. But it's visually pretty. And I'm pretty sure that's the same audience that's going to go in because they want to see, okay, where's this kid come from, and what's the relationship between Jake and Nateri, and is there going to be more blue alien quarters? There was alien
Yeah,
court.
yeah,
There
I
was
know, I
quarters.
know,
There
I
was
know,
quarters
I
with the
know.
tree. There was
Yeah,
quarters when you put your
was it
quarters
Cortis with the
into.
tree?
It's 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 it's
I don't know
something
what else
that'll
to
get you
call it.
arrested if you do it in real life. If you pull your tail out and try to implant it in a
Put it in the
tree,
tree. Yeah,
I
yeah, that
can
will get you arrested.
guarantee you're going to jail. Oh, so
Yeah, but speaking of Avatar 2,
I don't need to see the quarters.
but speaking of Avatar 2, Michelle Yeoh is going to be in Avatar 2. Technically, she's signed on to be in Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Now I have to see it. Damn it.
So, I mean, I don't know like how big of a part she's going to play, but she's in the movie.
Let me tell you something. If you do not utilize her, you know what? There's no such thing as small roles. Whatever capacity she brings, she may save the movie.
You don't know. We don't know.
I'm just saying, if there's not a great storyline, I don't really need the eye candy. I can MCU my way through eye flashy candy.
Yeah.
But don't listen to me, y'all, because y'all know I'm gonna see it because I'm gonna review it. I'm gonna talk about was it or was it not, and I'm doing different ones now because it's multiverse. So
For our audio listeners, he's saying, is it super or is it not super?
is it?
But we'll find out. That'll be a future episode. But as far as Everything Everywhere All at Once, we have declared it was a beyond super movie.
It's my new number one.
Highest marks.
I want to watch it again.
I mean, go for it. Go for it. I don't
You
know
not-
which.
you
I don't know
would-
what. I don't know
you
what
would never
streaming
watch it
service. Hell
again?
yeah, I would watch it again. I would love to watch it again.
Let me tell you
Just
something.
me find a time.
Netflix, get this.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and buy it right now and put it on your platform. It'll save you. Not
We're not gonna talk about Netflix
forever,
and
not
all of
forever.
the
but
shit
it
that
will
they're
save
going
you.
through.
This month, it'll save you. This month,
It'll save you this month. It'll carry you. It'll
we
carry
gotta
you through the
go. We
month.
gotta go. We gotta go month to month.
And then the month is halfway over.
That's all you got. That's all you got.
You got 16 days.
I'm trying to save as many as I can.
But let us know what you thought about Everything Everywhere All at Once. Leave us a comment. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us your favorite part of the movie. If it was one of the ones that we talked about. If it was one of the ones that we didn't even get a chance to mention. There are a lot of great moments in this movie. But we would love to hear from you and let us know what you think. But if you like the video, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can get notifications when a new episode goes up. Again, you can follow us on podcast streaming services, wherever you get your favorite podcast, and you can reach out to us on Twitter at ATSuperPod. Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
That's for the people that need sign language. Guarantee I did it wrong.
I don't know how accurate that was.
I can guarantee I did it wrong. They're gonna say he's throwing up gang signs is what he's doing. But my intentions were pure.
You have another group of people coming after you in the comments.
I love everyone, and I just want to put that out on the record. If you love me, I love you. If you don't love me, I still love you. It's okay.
There you go. It's all love.
There you go.
It's all love in the everything bagel.
And with that asshole joke, we'll see you next week.
Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you next episode.